Well, it's Scotty Stratton from Gold Coast Car Brokers again, and today we're having a look at the Camry, the Toyota Camry. It's quite funny coming from a prestige background. I never really had much to do with the Toyota Camry, but obviously admired the amount that Toyota have sold over the years and their reputation for being a fantastic, reliable family car. So I went into this test drive with a complete open mind, and now having spent a couple of days just getting around the northern end of the Gold Coast, I've really come to appreciate what a great car it is. A bit of Australian engineering and design at its best. So if you have a look at the new Camry that was released in 2015 as an upgrade, you'll find that it's completely different to the previous models as far as comfort, ride, handling, and I've got to say the new Sportivo, which has the alloy wheels and sport style grille, looks as good as really any car on the road. Camrys have never been that popular with the younger generation. They're more being considered the older person's car, just because I think in the past they've had a very meek and mild design. So to look at, there've been many better alternatives on the market, but with this latest offering from Toyota, they've really spent some time, and I think they've hit the nail on the head with the design of the car to appeal to that younger generation. So it seems to be just a quality of Toyota these days. The ride is exceptional. It's very, very quiet. Although it's a larger four-cylinder engine that I'm driving in the Altise at the moment, it's got all the power that you'd actually need for the everyday family get around. So one of the things that I have the advantage of that not everyone does when they're test driving the car is going to be a sort of a staple of what we do with our test drives, is to take them onto the M1 because of the corrugation in the concrete. It really puts the cars to the test as far as the how well they've been able to insulate the noise within the cabin. And I've got to say that this Camry excels, and it's even I would say, in my own opinion, quieter than some of the far more expensive, better known and more popular makes and models in this segment. So we're now hitting the corrugated section, the concrete section of the northern M1. And I think on that point, I think it's very important that when it comes to test driving a car, don't just settle for any particular route. Make sure that the route that the salesperson takes you on is consistent with your driving conditions. So what I mean by that is, if you've got a lot of hills within your neighbourhood, there's really no use just driving the car around the block on a flat surface, because whilst a car may seem to have adequate power on a flat surface, it may actually lack torque, which is really what you need to get a load, say of 4 passengers, up a reasonable size hill without the car struggling too much. So I've for the things that I've really liked about this car, the lack of blind spots, the drivability and the visibility is excellent. So they've obviously put a lot of thought into it. it's quite funny. My daughters would often say, but I can't see the bonnet, you know, and they think that that's a design flaw. But in actual fact, that all manufacturers these days, because not only does it improve the aerodynamics and therefore your fuel consumption, it actually gives you complete visibility of the road. There's nothing between really your windscreen wipers and the road surface, so you know you can look out for those last minute potholes and various things. You know, in previous eras where all you can see is really the bonnet, I do understand it does make parking easier as far as are you going to hit anything, but as far as being road safety and also impacts with pedestrians, they tend to cause less damage than the old-fashioned longer squarer style bonnets. So the other thing I really like about it is all the dials are very, very easy to read, where some of the modern cars these days you can actually have difficulties telling the difference between 80 and 90 kilometers an hour, but this one actually goes up in increments of 5 kilometers. So you know, you go from your 80, 85 to 90, 95 to 100, so it's very easy to see exactly where you are, especially here in Queensland, because the police force are really serious about pulling up people who are speeding, and you could be just sitting at 7 or 8 kilometers an hour over the speed limit, and if you're sitting in there with one of those real modern small speedos, it's really hard to tell the difference of whether you're doing 80 or whether you're doing 90. So I really do like that about this car. The sound system has a superb sound. The revision mirror is very clear, actually has the indicating lines, so you know, it sort of gives you a guide into a space on whether you're going to be able to make it or not. I have included a couple of photos just so you can actually see what I mean. I don't tend to get bogged down in the technical side of each of the vehicle, because you know, all that is available on all the manufacturers' websites, and some things are more important to some people than others. All I'm actually focusing on is just the drivability, the comfort, the fuel efficiency, and also the resale value, because that's also a very important part to consider when looking at buying a motor car. Now, whilst the Camry, I can't believe this Altise I'm in at the moment is on a program run out price of $26,990 drive away. Incredible for what you get in the size of the car, but as I've spoken about previously, you've really got to consider your resale value as part of your purchase price. And the issue I have is that the Camry is dominated so heavily in the fleet market, the government, police force, that there seems to be a lot of them on the second-hand market, which really can affect your resale value. So if you're going to finance one, make sure it's on a realistic term. You know, it's not something I'd want to see people jump in at 7 years or even 5 years for that fact, to see the affordability of the vehicle fit into their criteria, because I just think the depreciation can accelerate a little bit faster than some of the other cars that this vehicle competes with. So as I say, you know, this is just my independent advice. You should actually seek, you know, your own advice when it comes to anything to do with financial arrangements, but with 28 years in the motor industry and also a licensed motor dealer, I've seen many situations where people overcommit, get caught up in emotion, and that's the beauty about using Gold Coast Car Brokers, we will act as your voice of reason. We'll make sure that you're not extending yourself, and that you know, that we've considered all options, possible options, certainly in the near future, to make sure the car's going to suit all your needs. The things that I don't like about the car, there's really not a lot. There's three that I guess one of them that you can overcome at time of pre-delivery. The car seems to have a standard feature, is when you're driving it, that all the doors will all automatically lock. So every time you stop to pick up someone, or you need to drop someone off, you know, really the driver is responsible for unlocking the doors. So that feature can be turned on and off during pre-delivery. I'd strongly recommend that you ask them to disengage it. The other one is the foot handbrake. Funny term, but the handbrake is placed down on the left-hand side of the floor well, to the left of the brake pedal, and you know, I thought that sort of design went out with buckle-up shoes. So it's it's a little odd. So, and it can also, you can also continue to bump your foot with it a little bit until you're used to it. And I guess then lastly, I couldn't find any release for the boot externally. So, you know, whilst I was standing at the boot and the car was unlocked, I didn't have the key with me. I couldn't seem to open the boot. Now, if there is a boot release there, I apologise to Toyota, but they've hidden it well. So you either have to then go back into the driver's cabin and use the boot release on the floor, or use the boot release on the key. So I'm not sure of the point of not having a facility at the boot to be able to open it, to put your bags and your luggage and shopping and whatever else you may need to put in the back in there. But so they're the three things. You know, just to summarize again, is the central door locking once you're driving, the brake pedal, handbrake pedal to the left of the foot brake, and the boot release. Now, would they stop me buying this car? Absolutely not. If you need a bigger car to fit people in, and you don't really like the idea of an SUV, which is the sports utility vehicles that do sit a little bit higher up on the road, if you just want something that is comfortable enough for 4 to 5 adults, economical, I've been achieving 9.5 litres per 100 kilometres, which is exceptional for a car of this size. Then this car has to be at the top of your shopping list. The other cars, obviously, that compete in this market is almost your Mazda 6, Ford Falcon and Holden Commodore. So I'm sure over the next week or so I'm going to be able to get my hands on each of those vehicles and just give you an honest assessment as a comparison. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to log on to our Facebook at Gold Coast Car Brokers and like our page, and in our Q&A, car Q&A section, we're happy to answer any questions that you want to post. If you're thinking about selling a car, if you're thinking about buying one, whatever it is, anything motoring related, don't hesitate in sending a post through, and we always reply very promptly. So thanks for watching. See you next time.